for your eyes, and it's more of the talkative, and whatever the queries or something, if you can make it as an interactive, and if you can keep pinging me the your doubts or clarification, so let me try to extend to one possible level as much as possible, as early as possible. So, and special thanks to Dr. Sabari Rajan, and then similarly good thanks to Brian Jean, Dr. Amarnath, and Bala Murugan, who has helped me to organize for this. Okay. With this, so let me introduce myself. I'm Gomati Selvan, managing the HP e-business for Info Technologies. Being in the distribution industry itself is a vast portfolio. So all of us know that. And the today's topic, what we have been going to discuss is the SCM. SCM is again, I would say it's an ocean. It's an ocean to discuss about it actually. So I have been journeying with this two parallel. One is the distribution, another one is the SCM. I have been journeying with this for the last 16 plus years. So it's an hand on hand. So distribution and logistics and the SCM, all three is actually work on a hand on hand method. So which I have been traveling it for the last 16 years and have been crossed various portfolios, and each portfolio, the main thing which I played is setting up the process. So the business is one part. So business can be driven at any point of time, and which is in dynamism. So to do the business, the main functionality which has been required, the backbone actually, the backbone which is an SCM, which is an SAP or the order processing method or the import, export, logistics part. So the setting up the process is what the main thing to run the business in an effective manner. So I was actually part of that business planning method, setting up the process and making it as a strategical alliance. So all the way how the SCM was helping us, and what are all the struggles we were come across, and how we have been progressing on that. So I think this makes the whole idea of this session. So wherever it's been required, you can ping me, you can rise, and I can reduce my level of flow as much as possible. So this is the background. So let me move on to the first slide. So all of us are aware that SCM as a subject, correct? So which is an simply in say that it's an tool which is required to make the raw material and move it into one various process, and then the various process will help us to give the finalized product to one end customer. So this is as simple in one single line we could be able to put it across SCM as a tool, but if we deep dive into that, it's an ocean. So it's a very big ocean to cover up that subject, and each segment of business or each vertical, whether it could be an ITES or it could be manufacturing industry or it could be an BFSI segment, everywhere there is a need of SCM, and it plays in a different level. So each industry, even in the retail showroom in a bigger portfolio. So we all aware that Walmart, Disney, so all are the big guys, big shots has been very much has been effectively managing their business because of the SCM tool. So we all aware of that. So the SCM, SRM, CRM. So each YMS has their own specialty, and each YMS will support the business to effectively run the same. So I was part of one pie, which is the distribution. In the slide, you can see that, which I mentioned, the distribution or the retail location or the raw material. So how the chain flows between the raw material to reach to the customer as a full-fledged product. So correct. So where we play into that is into the majorly a distribution. So distribution with the many suppliers. So that's the one advantage in the distribution industry, because we are not dealing with one pie, we deal with multiple suppliers. So the SCM required the major role. HCM plays the major role in the distribution industry. Correct. So moving into that economical way. So why the SCM has been coming to the picture is actually we all aware, every business, how do we make the profitability end of the day? Correct. So today's scenario, the competition has been increasing for any type of product lines. It could be a manufacturing, or it could be a retailer, or it could be distribution, or even in the finance. So finance is also, now we have been seeing the tough competitions. Correct. So everywhere there is a competition, and we need to increase our business. More importantly, we need to make that business as the profitability. Correct. So how do we make that? So then it is the tool which is very much required in place. So, and we need to effectively utilize the tool and reduce the cost wherever it has been possible, and accelerate the speed of the process wherever it has been possible. And innovate to do the business, take out of the decent market share, and similarly come out with the profitability. So that's where the SCM plays the major role. Right. So, and it has been integrated with ERP, or it has been integrated with CRM or SRM, or so then several tools. So Salesforce. So it has been part of the chain. So it goes a long way actually. So we discuss on the SCM wherever it's been possible. Correct. So moving into that, I hope all of you can see my screen. So, and I'm not that speed. So wherever it's been required, I think I suggest Dr. Sabari to highlight me if I am doing anything, speed or the visibility or something. Correct.
It's going correctly, sir. No, not issue.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah. So we know these lot of definitions for the supply chain. So we in industry will simply say that the right product at the right price at the right time. So that it's very three simple sentence, but it makes the lot of things. So right product. How do we arrive the right product? Then it requires the right raw materials. Need to get it at right price. The raw material, I'm saying. I'm not coming into the product at all. So before product itself, there are a lot many things which goes. Similarly, the product has to come into that at right price. So that's one part actually. So third part is we need to get that product at that right time. So Amazon, so kind of a platform, e-supply chain, e-commercials business, how they have been effectively managing their business with the RFID solutions, with the Wi-Fi solutions, and with the clean platform on the SCM. So without which it's not that easy for them to scale up their business in a short span of time. So we all aware the Amazon, Walmart, or Flipkart, in a span of some 7-8 years, how they have been occupied, the tremendous growth, what they have been coming into that right now. Correct? So that's what which I have been mentioning it over here, that it has been system involves, sorry, 1 minute, I think. Sorry. So in very simple terms, what I have mentioned it is over here is it involves the organizations, people's, resources and activities, information, lot of information. So any business today, it's becoming the information, which is the data, the historical data of maintaining, securing it, and analyzing it. It's a business analytical topic. Then it goes in a separate way actually. So let's not touch upon that, because every word, if we choose, then it is become a topic itself by its own topic itself actually. So let's not get into that actually. So I'm saying the information, the data, the historical data analysis will help to build the supply chain management in the right manner. Correct. So where the vendor supplies the raw material and the producer who turns that material into a right product, and then the product needs to be stored it in the warehouse and moved it to the respective locations. It may cross the export import also. So there may be an export, there may be an import to the distribution center before it reaching it out. So from the distribution center, then it reaches to a retailer. So we simply go and buy and swipe the card and get the product. So, but before we touch upon that product, it crosses into many levels actually. So that's what we say that in simple words, it's the right product with the right price at right time if we get it. So that makes very successful. So be it in any industry, it could be in distribution, or it could be in manufacturing industry, or it could be BFSI or IT/ITES. So today the IT/ITES segment, the software companies is been forced to use the SEM, and it plays the major role. So we've been wondering, so on a software company, they are making the product by defining the code and all something, correct? So they are creating the software. So how are the SEM is going to make the useful for them? So that may be because manufacturing thing, so we could be able to realize that yes, there is a raw material we are buying, yes, we are storing it, and then we are converting that into an usable product, and then coming to the distribution retailer. But where is the software tool or software product, software as a product? So how is the SEM is been getting into that? So there are, yes, in any industry, SEM is becoming a mandate when it reaches to a particular level to effectively manage their business, correct? So that's been very key thing. So you can anyway Google it around more. So I don't want to diversify the topic moving from the SEM to the respective industry vertical. So it has been very useful if we can focus via an manufacturing industry versus the distribution industry. So that makes the visible of the supply chain management on a very easy manner actually. So with this, I'll move to that. So we all knew the components of the supply chain management with this, but if we talk about the first line, the planning, will require a minimum 1 day. So let me very simply say, we as an organization in the distribution, how the planning works in the manufacturing industry. So it's a very, very deep dive. We do the planning. So the planning is not simple. It's a sales forecast for any company. It's the sales. Sales is the very key essential thing for any business actually, correct? So the sales forecast, what the sales team does that with the respective managers, and then it flow continue to up to the top country level. So how it could make it as the planning is, how do we do the planning is, sorry, I think there are some of the people in the waiting room which I need to give. I think I have been, Dr. Sabri, I have been giving the okay, but I think 2 people are still in the waiting. If you could see, could be better.
The join, sir.
Yeah, okay, thanks. So planning, how do we do that is, for example, let me explain it with a very simple thing. When we do the review, we call it as the funnel review mechanism. In the funnel review mechanism, we ask for, okay, so we ask the sales guys, so is there an opportunity in the X, Y, Z customer? Yes, if there is an opportunity with the X, Y, Z customer, first we ask is, what type of the customer is, whether the customer is in manufacturing or IT/ITES or BFSI or pharma. So we'll try to understand their segment of the vertical of the customer. That's the first and key most one. And second, what we come to is whether the customer currently looking for buying something, our product. So for example, I am selling the networking solutions. It's a Wi-Fi solutions with the switching, firewall, all those things are the adjoined of this product lines. Okay. So when we talk about that, why is the customer has been buying? Whether the customer is going for an expansion, is that the reason he is buying? Or is that the customer is actually replenishing the stocks because whatever the tools which he has been using for till this time, maybe it was been purchased it 5 years back, and then the product would have reached it to the end of life. So is that the reason they have been buying? Because why this much of analytical thing is been required is to give the right feedback to the SCM team, because though we call it as we are the country head and we are the business manager, all those things, meeting the customers, all those peoples and flying all those, but the SCM guy is actually the superior power. So he makes the decision and he bind with the rule books. For example, India as a country region has been forecasting that these are all the customers, falls under these are all the verticals, and going for these are all the materials. And why they are going for? They are going for an expansion. They are increasing their geo portfolio, or they are increasing their space within that same office, or it could be replenishing the stocks, what I was highlighting, correct? So similarly, there could be, we will be deep diving and giving that forecast to an SCM tool. So the SCM guy who sits in the APAC level, who sees that actually, okay, so there is a Wi-Fi, for example, there is a Wi-Fi product which is required, and India has been projecting one particular model for, let's say, 1,000 units. Okay, and there is one more option, is that the 1,000 units of firewall, sorry, or a Wi-Fi is required, 1,000 units of mounting kit also to be mounted the Wi-Fi within their premises, correct? So if I don't project that, actually, it will become a challenge. The SCM guy, I can't be going and say that this is anyway the mandate. It's like how I can example is it's a power cord. So without a power cord or a power supply, it's not, it will not work. The product will not work, right? So there is a power cord is required to power up the thing. Similarly, there is a mounting kit which is required to mount the Wi-Fi, correct? So if I say 1,000 unit of Wi-Fi and the 1,000 unit of mounting kit, and I need to give that time commitment, because the SCM guy will backend will work like this in India. So like this, there will be a China region, there will be a Japan region, there will be an Australia region. Everybody will be projecting their own projections to them, correct? So whenever there is a projection comes at the beginning of the month, so the SCM guy will look into the data. Okay, so this is the thing which I need to plan at any point of time. It may strike it up, correct? But the SCM guy always plays a very safe role. Because of that only, the cost of manufacturing the product or the profit of the manufacturing product can be achieved. What does it mean? That once the complete projection has been reached out to the SCM, he will not immediately manufacture those. He will not. What he will do, 80% or 65% of the thing he ready to manufacture, he keep that level. What he will do, he will go and block the raw material sourcing guy actually. So we need to source the raw material, correct? So he will give that highlighted to the raw material guy, 2-3 people where these people would be have a tie-up. So he will give the heads up to the raw material guy. So the raw material guy will keep the material stock ready. So he is not buying, which means eventually the credit terms is not starting, correct? And today price may be higher and tomorrow price may be lower, and that benefit also he get it. Number 3, if he manufactured and keep it in the warehouse, again the warehouse space occupation, correct? So other region would have been required something, the finished goods which is ready for the shipment, that required the space. So there is a space management coming in. So everything can be monitored and effectively managed by the SCM guy who sits in that top level, correct? So without which it's not easy to achieve the large organization delivering the product to a customer at the right time. So if I don't deliver it at the right time, obviously I cannot able to sustain in front of the customer next time, because competition will throw me out actually, correct? And also I should not be hurry-burry putting the effort and buying the raw material in the last minute because I need to deliver it immediately. If I have not projected rightly, for example, there is a 5,000 unit of Wi-Fi order which has been coming to me, and the government wants that. So immediately if I go back and put it across as the projection, I need the 5,000 units immediately. So it's not that easy to take it up. So, but in that way also, how the SCM functionality work is, so here is an Asia Pacific guy who sits over there and he has been monitoring that. So if I go and knock immediately, there is a government project which is mandatorily needed, because this is going to be the turning point for our company. By backing this order, I can put it in my banner that I backed this order, which helped me to go further mileage to increase my business, correct? So what I need to do, I will again go back and knock the bell of the SCM guy, so to source it and try to make that product wherever it's been possible, correct? What he will do, he will not anyway go to the raw material guy, or he will not go and making the product, correct? Like the Asia Pacific guy, There will be a other portfolio of guys would be managing the other regions. For example, Europe region or North America region, there will be a guy. So he will correlate, interrelated with them and try to fetch the product line wherever it's been possible, or 2000 or 3000 or 1000, something like that, and transporting that material within a short span of time again spike the prices, correct? So I can't go back to the government and change the prices, correct? So the mix and match of all those things is actually downing the my cost. So that if I reduce the cost whatever the way possible level, it makes me to deliver the product at the right price with the at the right time, correct? So that's what I said, the planning is very, very important to do that actually. So that itself, that's what we do a planning session, minimum 2 to 3 people only in a day, because each one of them required minimum 3 to 4 hours planning session for a particular month. For 1 month planning with one guy required minimum 3 to 4 hours. So that's a detailed thing when we feed the data in the Salesforce, which will internally convert that into one ACM, which goes to an ACM tool. On a dashboard, the ACM guy can see that actually, correct? So to do that, the planning has been very important. So what I was saying that it is in the sourcing, again, the ACM guys, once he knows that, he will go for a sourcing of the raw material, and wherever feasible at the right price, he will do that. And then making of the product comes to one delivering. Delivering itself is a very big task actually. So if I put it across to the freight forwarder, so there they will call it as 2-3 terminologies. So to increase the prices, they will say that it's a flash mode delivery. So what's a flash mode delivery? So the moment I am handing over the material at the Singapore port, so they need to immediately move on that day and deliver it to me on the next day, which is called it as the flash mode, because the freight forwarder guy would have been received the bundle of product, tons of products from the others. So what they will do, so they will again keep their own SEM, and they will send the first come first serve out methodology. So this is the product that came in, so I need to first ship out this, because the airlines is also now becoming a very, very tight scheduled manner which they have been operating, though we have been seeing that number of airways has been increased, but it's not if sufficient enough to manage the tons of goods which are getting imported and exported between the India and other countries. I'm saying within the Asia Pacific itself, which is a very, very big task. So what we do is predominantly we foresee that yes, there is a requirement, but this project will go in a phase by phase manner. So similarly, if I want to give that the government project 5,000 units, but the government has been told that you need to complete the project in a 3-month span of time. Okay. So what we do, we will not use the freight forwarder on the flight mode. So we will use the freight forwarder on the shipping, because the cost I can reduce that actually. So these are all the things ACM guy will play, because by seeing that, ACM guy will see that, okay, India requires this product at December end. So by moving the product now from end of November via sea route, it can reach it to 15th of December or 20th of December to the Chennai port or Bombay port, wherever it is been required, to clear the goods from the customs and then ready for delivering it to the customer stage. So these are all the aspects which SCM guys will look into that on the delivering of the product, correct? Crossing the one border to another border. The more painful area at this moment for any manufacturing company, so even the industry leaders like the HPE or Cisco, which are all the big players into the market on the networking and security segment, because that's the one which I have been dealing it for the long time. So that's why I've been using those words. So, but there are some other many companies who has been into the manufacturing of containers and all, correct? The returning, the last one. So passing through Once we import the material and it is crosses to a various stages and reaching out to here, once we deliver the material to one customer place, and when customer tries to use that product at that moment, we see that the product is actually a failure or a faulty or something, correct? So in that case it become a challenge, correct? So we call it as a sales return policy. We call it as a sales return policy, uh, or we call it as an RMA of the product line. Okay. So what is required for that is that makes the painful area for the SCM guy, because he has to re-export the goods from the delivered location to the country of origin, which is a very big process. It's not that easy, because while I am bringing the material, I can show that this is the partner, this is the customer, this is the distribution who is buying for their internal use, all the documents. Anyway, failure also I am going to use the same only, but it is a re-export. Whether after bringing into an India, are we going to ship it back to some other location, because there are a lot of geos which are restricted by the US companies, like the African geos are highly restricted area. So they will say that it's not the place for to sell, correct? So to avoid that, they will be anyway been monitoring that while returning the goods from the delivered location to reach out to the country of origin location. So there also it plays the major role. What are they going to do? Are they going to dismantle the product and use that product again, go back to the raw material stage? To be honest, yes. So they will try to first check whether the product can be usable. If not, they will dismantle the product and try to go for the remanufacturing that actually. So we will again hear that as a refurnished product or something like that. So enabling is at all levels, whether it could be the planning or it could be the delivering to the end customers, and enabling the each team who manage that actually. Each team to manage their respective portfolio of the business. So SCM tool will give them the guidelines to them to effectively manage and effectively run the business. So this is the process, which these are all the key components of the supply chain management. So there could be some of the others also, but on the I could see that on the flow of business what we manage, I could see that these are all the key points which we need to maintain that, correct? So the raw material sourcing itself has a multiple components. What I was saying is that the Wi-Fi has one component which require the mounting it as one component, correct? So each region has their forecast of materials. Accordingly, these SCM will go and manufacture the product and delivering the shipment to the distributor. So sales to the channel partner and sales to an end customer, if it is any faulty, will have a sales return, and which requires again one more column called restocking fees. So any product line which I have been re-exporting it back to the manufacturer, we call it as there needs to be a restocking fee which need to be paid. So, and then finally the enabling the whole structure which I was highlighting. So everywhere, so there is an integral with the SCM is the RFID as well as the Wi-Fi solution. These are all the integral part of that action. Okay. So let me move it to the next. So we were all seeing the positiveness of SCM, correct? It was very useful, it is very effective, it helps the business, and it reduces the cost, it gives the profitability. All positive is okay. Let's think about a bit of negative. What happens if there is an supply chain or risk mitigation on the supply chain, correct? So it could be through a natural disaster, correct? So the natural disaster currently what we have been going is the COVID-19 pandemic, correct? So So that itself is the very big natural disaster we have been going through currently, correct? But every challenges, we human being definitively making into an positive challenging thing, and we have been making those challenges as a path and traveling with that and converting that into an good manner or a usable manner for us. So that's the good thing in the good thing of us actually what we have been doing it. Okay. So I was saying that, so it's a what could happen, the risk of the supply chain. It could be tools which can get mitigations like predictive modeling tools, which is one of the tool which helps to keep the SCM data functions back into the right manner, whether it is a climatical disaster or geopolitical disruptions, whatever it may be. So with that also, the SCM tool can help us to come back to the right level. So I was given a case study example. It was, I think, in the year 1990 or something. There was a fire at the Meridian Lightweight Technologies plant in Mexico. So we can there is a huge, big automobile industry, manufacturing industry, that one, and which got into that fired mode. So there is a lot of products which become unavailable. The components of the products were heavily available, correct? So how can the SCM can leverage the available product and make it as a profitability, correct? So what immediately the SCM guy will do is, there are products which are not available and the product which are heavily available. So he will immediately leverage it to subordinate business. It could be like General Motors, Fiat, Chrysler, BMW was also getting into that challenges of production of vehicles. But they have there were huge product lines which were available, and similarly there were huge products which are unavailable to make the goods into a complete usable manner, correct? Without which is not, customer is not anyway going to buy it, correct? So at this scenario, the SCM has played a major role for that Mexican based company. Okay, so they have taken a data, whatever the product lines which are available, instead of going for the manufacturing immediately, because it's not that easy to complete with the available product line. It takes a longer time for an automobile manufacturing industry to complete the full cycle of the business. So they have immediately throw out that SCM data, and they have immediately pulled out the available goods, usable manner goods, and shift it back to the other region of their company. So that's the advantages of the SCM, because I was explaining the same on a positive manner 15-20 minutes back, that the Asia Pacific guy who sits over here can see that the Europe country, whether they have a tool or something, or American country, whether they have that available product which India is currently required. So immediately the gate opens, so immediately the other region people have used the product line. So the company has not, I would not say that company has not made a loss. Company has definitely would have made a bit of loss with this fire accident, but the production and the other location has not got affected because of the SCM and because of the visibility by the other regional guy, and immediately get used to that, and the production goes immediately, and the production goods again reshifted back as the full product to the Mexican city, correct? So till the time this manufacturing industry get ready, so they have used the other region platform to make that. So that's the tool SCM has been helped us, correct? And similarly, I will discuss about the COVID-19, how it was impacted as in our industry. That's the one which I can able to talk a lot. How it was been, how we have been effectively using the not only the SCM. So there are other tools also definitely which I need to highlight. It's not that only SCM. So we all know that there is a Six Sigma product process, which is again will work hand on hand with SCM, correct? So today the opportunity with the Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma, which are all the tools will effectively using the manufacturing industry or the um, ITITS or a BFSI. So these are all the industries required, especially on the logistics, huge, heavy logistics. The logistics companies required the Lean Six Sigma process, which gives the 99.99966 percentage of the product manufactured and strategically expected to be free of defects. Correct. So this is the one of the tool. If I say that 99.99966 percentage, roughly in simple manner, I could say that 3.4 products may get defect per million. Out of per million goods what we have been manufacturing, maybe 3.4 product alone. So that makes the percentage into 99.9999966 percentage. Okay, so that's the thing which we will definitely discuss about. And today the CEOs are facing the overwhelming and competing challenges. Right, every CEO of an organization has have a huge pressure. We could be seeing it in the Economic Times or the Business Line that so the CEOs has got fired, and similarly there is a new CEO has been appointed and taken over the new business segments. Right? So they have been getting into that competing challenges and uncharted waters as they continue to navigate the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. Correct? So these are all the challenges how CEOs are facing, how they have been effectively managing this black swan event, I would say. It's what the China and the US is been terminologizing it the COVID-19 pandemic. So they have been saying that it's a black swan event. Correct. Finally forces many companies and entire industries to rethink and transform their global supply chain model. And so they need to change. So they need to change their global supply chain model. Right. So we were having two different types of supply chains. It's a traditional supply chain management, and now the scenario is the digital supply chain management. Correct. So we more moved it into an digital platform, and hence the tools what we have been using is also is required to move to one digital platform. Correct. So I will discuss about that point also, and what are all the things which flows into the supply chain is actually we get it as a upstream, internal, and then downstream. Correct. There are three streams which goes on the supply chain. So one is the upstream, and then internal, and then downstream. So these are all maybe a theoretical one. So let me not spend too much on this thing. Before we getting into the next one, so let me have a quick video for you. So that anyway makes you to have a re-energy because we have been continuously hearing. It could be better if you can have one video, which is the success story of Walmart. So as all of us are aware that Walmart is a big chain worldwide, and they have large retailers. They are planning to keep the goods. It's itself is the success mantra. For example, today we are getting into one departmental store, correct? So we see the product lines. So today, because earlier, some 15-20 years back, when we want to buy something for our home, we used to sit and write at home that what are all the product we need to buy. Those days are gone actually now, correct? So now today, we don't know what to buy. We are going into that departmental store or supermarket. Whatever we see, then it gets strike it into our mind. We keep by that, correct? So what to keep where? That's the one tool. So ACM again, because how they have made this is they are analyzing the historical data of their customers, whatever they are purchasing. Okay, somebody has been purchasing, for example, ghee. So if I need to mandatorily keep the cashews nearby ghee. If I don't keep the cashews nearby ghee, so it may not gel along, because they could see that the number of customers who brought ghee has brought cashews also. That's one striking method, correct? So then similarly, it shows that there are persons who bought a ghee, but they haven't brought the cashews. But then the historical data shows me that out of 100 people, 65 people has brought cashews and ghee together. It doesn't mean that 35 people not require the cashew, but they don't know where it is, and they may not have the time to go and search it, or it didn't strike it out to their mind at that point of time. Correct. So they have reorganized, regrouped their product portfolio showcasing in their departmental store, which really helped them to boom their sales. So like this, there are several product lines. So so though we are all aware that alcohol to an extent is being sold at the all departmental stores in the US or Europe kind of countries, correct? So what is very much required nearby that? It's a potato chips or something like that. So if I keep the chips section separate, it goes in the kids attractions, correct? So where I need to keep the chips along with the chocolates, biscuit, chips, that is one segment. And I need to keep the chips along with the nearby the locations where I have been keeping the liquors, correct? So this kind of regrouping on the Walmart is one of the success story for them to keep increase their bill of material while customers are coming and buying. Because as I said, customers are not aware what to buy. They simply get into that room and see they'll start buying it, correct? So I'll just play with this video. 1 minute. Correct. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So I hope you would have seen the video and enjoyed. 1 minute, let me back to the system. So we have seen that the number of customers, what they have been managing it per week, which is not that easy to manage the 200 million customers per week, right? So, and delivering the product at right time and make it available at all the times. I was using on my thing that there is an SCM has been integrated with the RFID and then Wi-Fi and then SRM, HRM, CRM. So it is not that only thing SCM is making that success. Yes, obviously there is another tools also which makes the business to be a success. But usage of the SCM and the effective methodology of using the SCM and right type of implementing that SCM definitely helps that organization to procure the product at right price, procure the raw material at right price and deliver it to the customer at the right price and get out of with the decent profitability. Correct. For a chips, we see that the effort whatever is been going on. Correct. Like a potato chips, which simply eating, sitting in front of the TV and then watching it. But the process it requires and the profitability which they are making, that's the key point which we need to highlight that. Correct. For a $3 potato chips, $2 profitability which they make, unimaginable. Correct. So roughly 210 rupees, 215 rupees chips, 150 rupees minimum is the profitability which they post. Imagine the items which are so cost in the overall Walmart and overall supermarket kind of scenarios. Who uses the SCM make the product available at the right time. Correct. So I think we have been discussing for the last 50-55 minutes. So I request, I think we may continue this by the second of 2:30 to 3:30, I think. Am I correct, Dr. Sabri?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 2:30 by 2:30 we can continue, sir.
2:30 we can connect, right? So where we will definitely discuss some of the other aspects in continuation to this of SCM. So the SRM, CRM. So there are so many other things, the flow of supply chain and the how the order execution goes and the COVID pandemic situation and the business challenges, how we are overcoming all those things. We will have a discussion in the second half. So,
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
So with this, any queries or something which I will definitely happy to answer. So we
Sir,
can.
I received few questions from comment box.
Yeah, please. So you can share it to me while discussing on the second half. I will address with that and then we will continue the session.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. No problem. Then we have a break now.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for the wonderful session. Thank you, sir. Thank you all the participants. We'll resume by 2:30 p.m. today. Thank you.